welcome back to the Content Bite. This is episode 18.
What?
I know.
No, hang on. Because if we're in season 2, isn't it episode 6?
It is episode.
We're getting very confused. We're not good with numbers. We're good with words.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Season 2, episode 6.
Yes. But the Content Bite, if you are a newbie around here, it is a podcast for freelancers and a lot of writers, people who use their words.
For a living. Just like us.
And who is us?
I'm Lynn Testoni and I'm a content writer and journalist.
Yes, and I'm Rachel Smith, a journalist and a copywriter and sometimes a content person. And I also founded and run Rachel's List, which is a jobs board for creatives.
Fantastic.
Yeah. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about newsletters. You do write lots of newsletters.
I do a lot of newsletters for Rachel's List, obviously, to a lot of different people. Yes, thousands.
Different, which is interesting because you do it to the people who post jobs as well as the people who apply for jobs.
Yes. So, yeah, we do newsletters every time there's a new job. Mm-hmm. As a job seeker on Rachel's List, you get a newsletter. Entry-level people, when we get an entry-level job or have a special on or something, they will get a separate newsletter. Mm-hmm. And then our job posters, that's a newsletter that we've done for ages. But it was always the vibe around that one was always like, hey, remember us? Post a job. You know, we've got so many great people. And then recently we just thought, actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to completely overhaul how our newsletter operates and works for the job posters. And we've really taken it in a completely different direction. It's not so much about, look at us, we're here, post a job, because they know that. They know about us and how to do it already, generally. So it's more about, how can we help you? What information can we give you? You know, what are some amazing, interesting things that we've come across? And it is all about that, your favourite term, added value.
Yes, that is right.
So that's the way that our newsletter works. And it's actually really fun to put together.
And is it doing better for you?
So we've had so many comments on it. Job posters love it. And it's one of those newsletters. I know that the newsletters I love, there's only really a handful, but I keep every single one of them because they're so handy.
Yes.
And
it is about adding value and something that you'll sometimes
it's tips or strategies or amazing apps I haven't heard of or books I would love to read and hadn't heard of, or like cool services or, you know, funky
or
new
even
websites.
Things you've seen about the place around the place, but they're all distilled into one newsletter, one spot.
And, you know, people who really nail the newsletter, it's fascinating, isn't it? You really know.
Because we get so much stuff these days. So if you're going to do a newsletter, you've got to make sure that you have something different and a unique selling point, and you don't bombard people. No. It's got to be a value for them to open it.
But that said, I personally do not send a newsletter to my clients.
Your copywriting clients.
And
clients.
And my editors and that sort of thing. But it is something I am going to do. Because as I mentioned in maybe 6 episodes back, hopefully by now I've got my website at least started. I'm starting my website and I'm going to really go in a different direction. I'm going to have a real, you know, lead generation strategy on there, and I'm going to have a lead magnet, and I'm going to really try and target the right clients, because, you know, from now I sort of fly by the seat of my pants a lot of the time and I get very busy and then I don't hustle. And so I want my website to work harder for me. And the newsletter is part of that strategy. I really think it's important. And I know that you send a newsletter to your clients.
Do. Yeah. I sent a lot when I started, and then I got a bit besieged with work, which is great. But then when I got busy, I didn't. And then I changed the strategy similar to what you've done. Instead of just saying, here I am, this is what I've done, I'm adding value, and I give sort of advice and sort of trends links to things, and that seems to do a lot better. And I do think, in fact, the last time I sent out a newsletter, I actually had somebody email me the next day with a whole big project to do, and I think she'd been meaning to either call me, or maybe she didn't know who she was going to ask, and my newsletter just popped in her inbox and she was reminded of me because I hadn't worked for this client for about a year.
Yeah.
So I just done the odd project for her. So that was really good.
This is it. I think if you have a lot of the same clients, like say that you have a lot of, small business clients, who want to know about content marketing or how to get more traffic to their website, or they want to know about social best practice on Instagram, or, you can sort of put stuff together that they're going to find really interesting. And more often than not, they're going to say, wow, that's really interesting, but I don't have any time to do that. So can you do it for me?
Yes.
So that's, you're sort of giving them lots of interesting nuggets of information, but in the background there's this implication that they can just come to you and you can do it for them.
It's about positioning yourself as the expert in your field, which is really important, because people use you for a reason, because you know more about, whatever it is you're doing, or you have more time, or you can go in depth about, what creates better. It's also... There is a lot of work, there's a lot of content available in writing newsletters. And if you do a good newsletter, people are going to come to you to do theirs. And if they do your newsletters, then they're going to ask you to do their blogs and their website, and it just continues on from there.
That's true. If you do a shit hot newsletter,
yes,
just for your clients, you're right. They could turn around and go, well, actually, she does a banging newsletter. I'm going to get her to do ours. So it's a skill that you are showcasing to your clients. But let's talk a little bit about how to get people onto your subscriber list, so you actually have people to send a newsletter to.
Well, I have a contact us and a subscription form on my website.
Oh, right. So do your clients sign up?
They do.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Often they do. And random people that just see me, because I've spoken at a few workshops, including Rachel's. I had some workshops at Rachel's List, and people have found me and signed up. And some of my clients as well, people on LinkedIn. And I recently, as you know, gave a TEDx talk, and people came on and signed up for that as well.
Wow.
So, and that's probably why I started getting into doing newsletters, because I figured all these people are signing up, I better give them something.
Yeah. And they do say that newsletters are kind of the last bastion of control that you have over your clients or your potential leads or your followers. You can say exactly what you want and get the message out to those people.
Or the people that you want.
Or the people that you want to come and hire you. Whereas you might think, well, I don't need a newsletter. I've got Facebook, I've got my Facebook business page, I've got Twitter, I'm on Instagram. Who needs a newsletter? Well, actually, all those platforms, you're under their terms and they can change their algorithm,
Yes.
overnight.
Everyone's got a story about how nobody sees them on Facebook anymore or Instagram anymore. Yes. Yeah. Unless you pay lots of money.
That's right. So if you are really focused on growing your subscriber list on your website, it's so important to do that and not rely on your socials and think that everyone is seeing what you're posting, because they absolutely are not. No. Like I think Rachel's List Facebook page gets, I think the posts that we put out, only 10% of our followers see those.
Oh yeah.
And it just, you wonder if you're wasting your time.
Yes.
Groups do better, but still. So one way to get more subscribers is to have a lead magnet on your website. And that doesn't have to be a huge, 70,000 word ebook that it could be like a cheat sheet, a tip sheet. It could be a brochure or something that you've had designed that looks really beautiful. I will say that I think get it designed if you have the budget to do that. Use a designer, because the lead magnets that we've used at Rachel's List have gone gangbusters, particularly the pay rates report, which we've mentioned before.
Because they're nicely designed.
It's beautiful to look at, and it's got amazing information
really
in it. Yeah. So lead magnets can really help to bring you subscribers.
I also find when I've been sending out a newsletter for about 2 or 3 years since I first started, and I found it's a great way of playing around with, I use MailChimp, which is a really common newsletter sort of platform, and I've tried things with my own newsletter thing that I haven't tried with clients, and then when I've perfected it with my own, then I've used it for clients.
Yeah.
Using beta testing.
It's a testing ground.
It's a testing ground. I try different templates.
Yeah.
I muck around with layout, that sort of thing.
I know. So we use ActiveCampaign at Rachel's List, and I've always thought, what will I do for mine, when I start my own newsletter as a freelancer? And I do love MailChimp as well. I think it's really user-friendly in a way that ActiveCampaign perhaps is not. But the trouble is, once you reach a certain amount of subscribers, you do have to pay. And I think...
MailChimp is 2,000.
2,000 subscribers. So if you don't have that many and you want to send a fairly simple newsletter and you don't want to pay but you have a lot of subscribers coming through, you could try a site called Tiny Letter.
All right.
Yeah, I think it actually is run by MailChimp. I could be wrong.
I see. All right. With my website is Wix, is a Wix base. They also do a newsletter based off your website, so you can actually do it. I haven't used that, but you can actually do. I think so you can combine it with your website as part of that subscription.
Yep.
Yeah, which is quite helpful. One thing I do like about MailChimp is that it tells you how you're rating against the rest of your industry.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is really good, which is great. And so I know that, mine has a 61% open rate, which is quite good, and the industry average is 41. So, but that also gives you an idea, because mine's a very small scale, it's just my clients. So they tend to, I don't send it all the time. So they tend to open it when I send it.
Yeah. And you could use it as a way to say, I've just started offering this service, or I've got a special on editing this month, and just hit reply and
sometimes
let
people
me know.
use it if they're going on holidays to say, just reminding you that from December this is Christmas hours, that sort of stuff.
It could be that I'm back on deck on the 6th of January or something like that.
That sort of stuff is really handy.
But I actually I kind of tend to think you should be very consistent with how often you send it.
Yes, it is. Does make sense.
Yeah, just so you've got that expectation and stuff. But it could be that your newsletter, if you do a really good one and you get an engaged audience, that it actually generates a lot of revenue for you. Yes. So definitely something to think about. Anyway, we're over time as usual, so we are going to go. But thanks for listening to The Content Bite. Where can you find us, Lynn?
We can find us on our Facebook page, which is The Content Bite, or you can email us at thecontentbite@gmail.com.
Yes. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.